Well, people say to you, I mean, how are you, Marshall? How are you? Oh, good, good. Oh, yes. Have you had a good week? Oh, yes, very good. What you been doing? Oh, and of course then I'm stumped because, I haven't been doing the usual material objective list. Typically, I mean, sometimes I have. Oh, I went to so-and-so. I hadn't been there for weeks, or I met such and such. But in a worldly sense, well, I haven't done anything unusual this week. Has it been a good week? Oh, yes, wonderful. In what way? Well, in a spiritual way that's hard to communicate. It's in the context of what I see my spiritual journey as, you see. I mean, this is the same for all of us. And so the things that are significant are scarcely utterable in a way. I mean, not just personal in that you don't want to share them, but that it won't be meaningful without you knowing the whole story of where my spiritual relationship with God is at present. And I feel the blessing and the progress as I see it, of course, in such regard. And that's what's important to me, and that's what's made the week wonderful and lovely, meaningful and worthwhile, but very hard to itemize, list and say in what way you had a good week. Other than, I suppose you could say, well, just aware of the blessings of God, but that might sound terribly pious and so I'm typically at a loss as to how to answer people, but it's quite obvious that I'm on top of the world, of course. And of course that says it all. But I'm not quite clear how to share it. What do you think? What does God think? Well, I suppose it's, in a way, as the world sees it, it doesn't share private matters. This was the general rule. Whereas I do share private matters because, in some sense, I suppose they're not as important to me as spiritual matters that I'm experiencing. And those we're much more protective about too. I don't think I'm aware that I'm being protective of them. I might be a bit. But I think that's what it constitutes, a protection. Don't cast your pearls before swine. It's a bit like some people are very cautious of telling others what their goals are because that might water it down and put a dampener on our enthusiasm to move towards such. So we're cautious of who we share our dreams with, as in hopes. And how much so too with our spiritual life. We may not actually be open about our true values and so on, because we cherish and protect them and value them. Don't cast your pearls before swine. Oh, don't get me wrong. The person who's asking you is asking you out of kindness and not just politeness, typically. Oh, you had a good week. What happened to you then? And then, of course, what you do want to share, and you're trying to think, well, how do I give the details of this? I mean, for instance, my joy is in large measure doing these recordings. What do I do, given the whole situation of how I come to be giving a particular recording and its context, and the leading I suddenly and the encouragement I get whilst literally giving it whilst talking it, like now, and suddenly think, oh yes, I should say so and so, and somehow God has it all come together. It's a lovely feeling, but it's not really too intelligible to others unless they're on a similar track in some way. It strikes a note that they recognise, a chord. Yes. Let me just see where I started this. Hang on. Yep, that seems to be it. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Oh no, it's not, is it? It's where I started. What is the situation? Well, I've never been so filled with the presence, awareness, thoughts of God. Lovely God too, of course, not a religious God of, my experience has been heavily of the Christian religion in all its many, many varieties, faces. From fundamentalist, evangel, cold, rational, theological, liberal, Pentecostal, cults and near-cults, anything from Jehovah's Witness, Sabbath keeping, Seventh-day Adventists, Christadelphian, Mormon, the list is endless. But when all's said and done, far more is said than done. And you need only one God, yours, personification of what you truly value. What else could you love? And when you focus in on that, you're transported into, I was going to say for once, her embrace, his embrace, your Heavenly Dad, or Divine Mother, or dearest friend. More likely all three. But your God, your values, and the love and the trust and assurance that he'll clear any view that you need. And he does. You found your God. And the astonishing person you've become by knowing him. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take an understanding of some religion. It takes a devotion to what you truly value. An awareness of everything you love, everything you find good. Doesn't matter whether it's good or not. What matters is you appreciate it. And because the goodness of such starts to dominate your life, you find you're led towards, it sounds odd, but a greater and greater understanding. You start to know your God for real. And knowing God is everything to life eternal.
That's what John 17 tells us. Very simply, your best start is to know him as your Heavenly Dad. It's presented as the firmest of all foundations. The one that loves and cares, provides, protects, comforts, abides with you always. Perfect Dad, Heavenly Dad, yours. Always, I will never leave you nor forsake you. I dwell in you, and all mine that is of value, eternal value. What you think of as heaven is open to you. You are welcome. Haramai. Come. It's your home and mine. Always. I'll never leave you nor forsake you. A lovely presence, a lovely God. Dearest friend, yours, always. So you will sing, I will sing, I will sing a song unto the Lord. I will sing, I will sing. We sing for joy, you see. Joy, joy unspeakable, full of glory. Standing in thy presence, O Lord, for thou art worthy to receive more than I could ever give. But O Lord my God, I give my life to thee. Joy, joy unspeakable, full of glory, standing in thy presence, O Lord. You need the company of your Heavenly Dad. And more importantly, you have it, and have always had it, and always will have. It is your ticket to eternal life. Heaven. By His grace, His loving kindness, His eternal being in you. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Dad.